and your precious 60 minutes with us. We are very grateful. Very quickly, I'll just set the context for Career Spotlights. The idea for us was to create a platform for everyone to ask questions where they might not have the answers for anywhere else. And that's why we conceptualized it. So we are very excited to have Professor Navyog and Professor Nancy on board with us today for this small conversation. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much, Professor Nancy. I will quickly
Thank you,
introduce,
Sakshi.
yeah, I'll quickly introduce both of them. Isha, if you could just put on the slides, and we can start. Okay, for everyone who is joining in, I would really love to hear if there are any questions that you are thinking, why are you here today? Why have you decided to really join us and spend this time with us? I think it'll help us to make sure that the time that you spend with us is most fruitful and beneficial for you. So if you can just put your video on, put yourself on, like unmute yourself and just let us know that. I think that would be great. Or even share in the chat, both works if you're too camera shy. Anybody? All right. I think we'll just start then. Isha, if you can just take us to the introduction for the panels, please. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. So I will very quickly introduce Professor Navyog Monod. He is a visiting faculty at Ashoka University. He's a Stanford certified coach and he's a Stanford trained educator and a Harvard certified leadership coach. He's also a board member of Kunjan Foundation and Be Singular. And he has been on the ground from a long, long time, have done great work. And we are very excited to have him do our course for building your life by design this year. It's a new course. And it is the time of the need. As we all know, 21st century skill set is all in the rage, and it's the skill set that we need for today. Thank you so much, Professor, for your time and for being here and for doing the course with us. Thank you so much. Professor Nancy, on the other hand, is an educator.
Thank
She
you.
has MPhil
Glad to be
from.
here.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Professor Nancy, on the other hand, has done our most highly rated course from our Horizons catalog called Crafting Your Story for Success. And it was for sure that we had to do it this year as well. She is an LSR alumni and also has done her MPhil from Delhi School of Economics and has her ear on the ground, especially when it comes to writing and communication. So thank you so much, Professor Nancy. So good to have you here as well. And
Thanks.
I'm very
Thanks.
excited to see what we can do in the next 60 minutes. All right. So for everyone else who has joined in, the flow of the event will be that we have some questions prepared, just a very normal conversation with both our panelists, to just see how the skill sets of design thinking and writing are really important at this point of time. What's their take on it, as they are the experts. And we will do this for 25, 30 minutes, and then we'll open the floor for any sort of questions. And in case anyone wants to kind of pitch in, please feel free to raise your hand, put your thoughts in the comment section. We really, really enjoy an engaging audience. So, Professor Navyog, I'll start with you. As you are really beautifully on my screen, you can switch off the presentation for now, Isha. That's fine. Um, why did you specifically choose to pursue design thinking? Why made you why did you actually be the life design coach? What really excited you about the field? I think it's something new. Not a lot of people know about it. So,
Yeah, thanks, Sakshi. And hello, everyone, and especially the young students with us. Good to have you on a Saturday morning. So, Sakshi, so why did I choose this and what excited me? Because, I mean, I think I'm pretty excited about life in general. And I think life is such an amazing adventure, and and if one could have the tools and a framework for creating greater flourishing and well-being, leading to happiness and feeling alive, I thought that would be amazing. Now, I discovered this some years ago when Stanford University was doing this, and it's a bestseller course at Stanford. Hundreds of universities are doing it now, and it kind of resonated, the principles, the tenets, because what it says is that, how might you be a designer, and what are the skills, tools, and mindsets such that you can become a designer and a designer of your own life. And I thought that was incredibly interesting. And when went deeper and delved deeper at the book, and then started to engage with Stanford and their courses, and there got certified and so on and so forth, it not only resonated with my own life experiences, but also a very strong urge to share it with the world at large, in India. And so we landed this at Ashoka University, and we've been going since then.
Thank you so much, Professor. Professor, that was really, really helpful. And why do you think I really enjoy the way that you have really explained it? Why do you think it's important for high schoolers specifically? Uh, I like we all know that design thinking is the 21st century skill set, but why start early and why for high schoolers?
Yeah. You know, I think high schoolers have this, they're at a very unique, I think, place in history, and where the world is right now. On the one hand, there's a huge amount of opportunity, power in your hands, technology is doing its thing, and um, it's just a very exciting world. And that cuts both ways. On the other side, AI is automating a lot of stuff. There are lots of choices. There's stresses because of social media, mental wellness stuff. And so I think high schoolers, getting out there into the real world, are feeling a little stressed. They're also excited at the same time because so much opportunity and it's a global world. So I think it serves them very well to start early. Designing your life, we engage with people in colleges, we engage with adults. I've engaged with people even when they're 60 years old. Everyone's trying to design a better life, and a more fun, flourishing life for themselves. But I think the students today, uniquely positioned, also have this facility to start early. And when I say start early, what does that mean? Start by understanding and embracing ambiguity to start with. Okay, because the world has a lot of uncertainty, and dealing with ambiguity is almost a skill. Start by learning the tools of being more creative and doing creative problem solving. As AI automates everything, creativity is going to become very important. Start early to understand and put the human at the center of everything, because machines will do everything else. And so for their careers, well, and I'll quickly cut this short, but tell you that one thing today, for the younger generation, I would really tell them to look at skills and build skills for this uncertain future, which is a horizontal set of activities or skills, rather than look at roles and say, oh, I will be an electrical or a computer science engineer. Now, while we do that, and colleges will always talk about that, and we'll have roles in mind, I think it's very important to build skills. Design thinking is a skill, and also and learn the framework for life design, which it's also is a skill and helps you navigate the uncertain future, and make the best use of an amazing world that we have today available to all of us. So yeah, I think, welcome to the future, and it's going to take a lot.
I love that line, welcome to the future, because it's true. We are in the future. It's happening. Thank you so much, Professor. I think that was very insightful. I will quickly move on to now Professor Nancy, and on similar lines, Professor, how uh, how did you really got into writing? How your career trajectory has been? What really excites you, and why is it important for high schoolers to learn writing? Of course, it's a important skill set, but where does it actually come into play in its all its glory? If you can just shed some light on that.
Sure, sure. Thanks, Sakshi. Hi, everyone. So I think something about writing really, excited me since a younger age. When I was in undergrad, also, I saw a lot of my um, peers, and I went to LSR, Lady Shri Ram College for Women, which is supposed to be the place where the cream of the country comes. Students with best marks come. Students from the best high schools come. They're supposed to be the brightest because they got a particular kind of marks. um, and all of them struggled with writing. All of them, when we were supposed to write our term papers, 500 words, 1,000 words, all of them, all of us, we were clueless about what to write. We were clueless about what is analysis, let's say, because our schooling didn't teach us anything about writing. The only thing we knew was introduction, body, and conclusion. For all of us, conclusion was a instating of introduction, just in different words, but most of us even couldn't find those different words. So we would just learn those phrases like in conclusion or in a nutshell, and it will just be a repetition. And then I mean, for me, I always I also became a very ardent reader in my undergrad years. I had access to a brilliant library, and I realized that, hey, but everyone's writing differently, and no one's really repeating introductions and conclusions. So what are we doing? And I think it was that kind of awareness that stayed with me as I went on to do my higher ed also. When I was in MPhil, and we were all supposed to write like 20,000 words, 50,000 words dissertations. We again didn't have any course on writing. We did research methodology, we did other things, but we didn't do like a course uh dedicated to writing. And that told me about the lack of training in writing, and also at the same time this sort of belief that you're born a good writer. So either you know it or you don't. And I know that I wasn't born a good writer. I know so many writers, when you read their biographies or their memoirs, they, like Dostoevsky very famously wrote 13 different ends to Anna Karenina, 13 different conclusions, and then he chose one, right? So no one's born a good writer. Like the best of writers are not born good writers. It's a skill, just like Navyu was saying that, the world is now, going to be the world of skills. What do you know? How much can you become better at it? So I think that is where my um, teaching and writing begins. I try and talk about how it's not an innate skill, how it's not something that you're either born with or not. You can learn it, just like you can learn how to edit a video, just like you can learn how to type at a fast speed, just like if you train yourself, you can become a marathon runner, you can become a writer, right? And I think, a lot of people talk about this, doomsday where writers will be replaced by AI. And in my understanding, that's never going to happen. But as writers, we definitely, if we want to remain relevant, we have to understand how to use AI better, right? So people here, they may be using ChatGPT or Gemini or DeepSeek or whatever it is that they're using. If you use it with some, awareness about what are the strengths of these tools and what are their weaknesses, it can help you become a better writer, right? So I'm not one of those who would say, let school kids not use AI. I would rather say let them use AI, become an expert of it so that they can use it to their advantage, right? And as we are moving on and on towards AI generated content, I think the people who really can write well will be so much in demand, because what a human being can produce using all their experiences, etc., their awareness, their cultural milieu, and AI can never produce that kind of writing. So we don't have to be scared of AI in writing, but we have to know how to work with it. And high schoolers should know how to write, because there is no way or no career or no way to succeed and excel in the 21st century which does not contain writing. You must, like, kids are already on LinkedIn and writing stuff, right? But if your post is just chat GPT generated, you will never get the engagement that you want. You will be writing emails, you will be writing cover letters, you will be writing application essays, SOPs. When you're in your job, whatever it is you're doing, you may be supposed to write reports, documents. There's so much that we have to write in our careers also. And I think that's why we have to begin early, so that we can become better at it and we can develop an authentic voice, right? We, through our writing, can make an identity for ourselves. Sakshi, I think I'll stop there. I think I spoke too much.
No, no, I think that was perfect. And Professor, one thing which is really interesting is you said a piece about your own voice, your authentic voice, especially now when the AI is really just changing the landscape for everybody, right? Uh, and you also mentioned about essays. So, in your opinion and with your expertise, what do you think colleges really look for in an application when students are writing their essays or when they are writing their SOPs, and what really makes them stand out and make their voice very unique for the admissions committee?
So one thing that I'd like to start with is that all students know this, and but maybe they forget it, that when you're submitting your application, you're submitting multiple documents, right? So you're submitting your transcripts. At some places, you're even submitting a resume. Your essay is a part of that whole bundle, and it is actually the piece that needs to tie together everything. So you have transcripts where you have some marks, then you maybe, let's say you're a soccer player, or you're a pianist, or you're a dancer, or you're someone who has worked as part of NGOs. That is one part of your bundle. And then the other part of your bundle is maybe you've done some academic projects or whatever. Now, when we bring all of this together, what does it say about you? That is what your essay is supposed to do. So, in a way, it's not supposed to be a repetition of your transcript. So, you don't have to mention your marks, etc. You don't have to mention your certifications, etc. You don't have to talk about, sure, you can talk about the project you did, but you don't have to go into its details, because the details are already there. But if, let's say, I am someone who's gotten decent marks, but I'm also someone who's learned Kathak, let's say, for 5 years. So I have to bring my academic records and my interest in Kathak together to say something about me, and that saying should happen through the essay. I know that sounds abstract, so I will break it down a little bit. I'll also talk about a few other things. When you're applying to a university, you are thinking that this university is a fit for me, right? But the university wants to know that why is it a fit for you. So if you're, let's say, applying to Princeton, you have to explain that Princeton is a fit for you, but you also have to explain why you are a fit for Princeton, right? So that is something that you do through the essay. Okay. Now you may have, let's say, an interest in anything. It could be a hobby, it could be an interest, it could be a love for a discipline, or bird watching, or just running, whatever. What has it taught you? What has it added to you as a person, as a personality? And how is that addition going to help you in your university life, in your life, in your career, etc., is something that you talk through using your essay. So in a way, think of your essay as a bridge. So there's a past. You've lived for 15 years, right? And now you're applying for college. Right now you're 15. This is your present, and you want to go to the future, right? And your future has goals. Your essay is a bridge between your present and your future. So who you are today and who you want to be, you want to talk about that in your essay. So in a nutshell, that's what you're supposed to do in your essay. It's not a summary, it's not a biography. It's not that, hey, when I was a kid, I saw a farmer and it got me interested into, understanding Indian history. If you say when I was 5, this happened to me, no one's gonna believe you because most of us don't remember what happened when we were 5, right? And it's like you are writing creatively in your essay, but it's not a creative writing. It's not, most of the times it's not some place where you use a lot of imagination, fantasy, etc. You walk that thin line between fact, and talking about how it affected you. So it's really nuanced, as you can, I think, guess. But if there are other questions, Sakshi, I can answer them later. I mean, if audiences have questions on the essay particularly. Yeah.
No, I really loved it, Professor Nancy. And I also think that essay is one part where you have still a little bit more control in the present, because your mark sheets, your history, that's set in stone in a lot of ways, right? But when you write, and that unique style can really bring that extra flair and can really make or break in some situations, of course. I mean, everything has its own set. Because you talked about future, Professor Navyug, I'll quickly jump on to you. I have this question that we have been thinking about, me and the team, of course. How can students be future ready? Because you mentioned the future is here. So now they need to be ready now, right?
Yeah.
So how can they be future ready for jobs that may not exist right now because the landscape is changing so fast, it's too dynamic? Or how can a student craft their long-term vision for their careers? And what's the best way to do it? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, um, I think it's a, let me not give a pat answer and say, here's the silver bullet. I want the students to realize that it's going to be a journey. And in this journey on life, you are forever. There is always, whether now the future's ahead of you, 3 years from now, the future's ahead of you, and 10 years from now, your future is ahead of you. And at all times, we want to have the skills and the tools to navigate the future. So, what designing your life does isn't, well, as of today, it'll help you to decide what your, what are the possibilities and what is the potential, given who you are, what might be appropriate set of futures for you. See, because one of the biggest things I think that happen is that, there's a lot of voices, noises, articles, social media, parents, aunt, uncle, and we end up taking and doing things that don't really align with our strengths, passions, and interests. We do it because it's cool. We do it because it's a great place to be. We do it, and then, the smart ones and all of us, and we end up even succeeding to be there. So, what my real take is, and given the fluidity of the world and the way things are moving, is to really to be ready for the future. As Nancy said, you have to look at the past also and see who you are, what lights you up, what are your passions, what are your values, what's your North Star. You have to look at your present, and given all that, you're kind of starting to imagine possible futures. Now, in designing your life and in getting ready for possible futures, we want to go beyond imagination and, creativity. We also want to test it out a little bit. So to be ready or to take the right step for your future in designing your life, I'll use the word, it's a big word called prototyping, but what it really says is, why don't you go out and experiment with it? So if you want to be an artist, it's really interesting. Why don't you spend a summer being an artist? If you want to be a rocket scientist, why don't you ask and for an internship and just go and hang out with scientists and see what that works for you? So at a broader level, what I'm trying to say to the students is that the future is going to keep changing, and what we need to do is build a set of skills so that we can navigate the future in a way that really is meaningful for us. So that's a like an abstract answer, and but I'd like the students to think about this at a more practical level. We are saying that right now, given what you love to do and what you're good at, let's find the intersection between what you love to do and what you're good at, and then decide which direction you want to go, because the chances are you'll feel happier there. And to do that, of course, one of the most critical skills is the ability to write and to communicate, as Nancy said. Pause, reflect, and see what, and what we do in the course is really look at the intersection between what you're good at and what you love to do, and from there start to imagine the futures possible, and urge you to take some steps and do experiments to test those futures. So being future ready actually means testing the futures to see how that works for you. So we go through this whole set of exercises, and all I can say is it's an exciting world. And I keep saying that, but you want to build these skills to embrace this exciting world. Otherwise, it'll just leave you behind, because it is really changing at a rapid pace. Phenomenal amount of change is happening. So yeah, welcome to the excitement.
Thank you, Professor. That was perfect. Because now we have been talking about the courses and you have taken us through what exactly is going to happen in yours. I think this is right time that I will just briefly tell you so that the audience is not lost. Isha, if you can, I can request you to just put on the slides. Um, so this year, in the Horizons Achievers program, it's one of the summer offering at Ashoka University. We have 15 courses. Professor Navyug's course is a new course that we have built and conceptualized after a lot of research. Uh, Professor Navyug is a star, and Nancy's is a repeat course from last time, simply because it's super, super crucial to learn how to write. And her course got us really good feedback from everyone who joined in. It was a 5 on 5, which is very rare for an online course. These micro courses are actually developed so that students can experiment within the summer. They happen over the weekend, 5 weekends, 16 hours of course module for each course. So that the students can get an idea, okay, if I have a spark in psychology and I really want to explore it, you go through the whole program and then you see, okay, if it is going to align for me in the future or not. Same for design thinking, the same for astrophysics. And can I have the next slide, please, Isha? And the reason why we really want the high schoolers to plug in for Horizons Achievers program is because these are the most highly rated micro courses for high schoolers. They're deeply immersive. It's a live faculty. They are not recorded, so you don't have to stick with your questions and wait for someone else to answer them. You can get them answered while you're doing them. You work on capstone projects throughout your course. So by the end of it, you have something tangible, which is way more than just a certificate program. And yes, it prepares you for not just colleges, but it prepares you for life beyond. Increases your knowledge and also makes you build on very strong profiles, college profiles. And very quickly on, I would also like to let you know that the UG programs last and final round are open at Ashoka University. If I can just have the slide, please, Isha. Yes, this is for the undergraduate program. We are in the last round. The numbers and the email address is mentioned. We also have Vrinda from the team available today. So if anyone has any questions for UG, we would be very happy to take those as well. Very quickly now, Isha, I think we can just remove the slide. Professor, because you have mentioned it and you kind of helped us get into it, what this design thinking course, who is it the best suited for? Like what we get this question a lot from high schoolers. How do I decide? There are so many courses, right? Why should I do this? Or even from parents and counselors, we hear this a lot. What's the right course for them? So for whom is this course actually designed for? So if we can just hear it from you, I think that'll be best.
Yeah, the cute answer is whoever's got a life needs to design their lives. Now, but the more specific answer is, we've done this at the Ashoka Lodha Genius programs and other students. It's been grades 9 to 12, right? And I think for grades beyond that, it won't be that productive. But I think grades 11 and 12 would be especially productive because they're going to, choose their streams and colleges and go out into the real world. And the whole idea is that's a very important transition in their lives. So we would, we really urge them to take a hard look. And so grades 9, I mean 11 and 12 for sure, but we've also had 9 and 10 in the past.
Okay, thank you, Professor. And the same for you, Professor Nancy. If you can just let us know for which set of high school students this suits the best, crafting your own success story. And if you can just shed some light on that, please.
Sure. Thanks, Sakshi. I think anyone who wants to apply to college is currently entering grades, I mean, would be in grades 9 to 12 during the course, is, welcome to join. There have been some concerns over the past, in the past that, is ninth grade too early to join? But my take is that, as I said, writing is a skill, and the more practice you get, the better it is. What we are trying to do with the course is that you have a draft of your college application essay written. As you exit the course, you've gotten at least 2 rounds of feedback on it, and the feedback is not that, hey, this doesn't look good, change this sentence. The feedback is much more actionable. If I'm telling you that this does not sound good, I will tell you why it doesn't sound good. I will tell you what you can do instead to make it sound good, and I will even tell you what good means in this context, right? Because good writing also changes depending on the context. So yeah, anyone who wants to apply to the US, the UK, anywhere in Europe, Australia, to universities there, or even to Ashoka, Kriya, Flame kind of universities in India, because all of these universities, ask you to write something before you get in. Yeah, and I think this whole idea about writing about yourself, it's a very tricky thing, because you have to sound confident but not boastful. You have to sound reflective but not self-doubting. You have to be the right amount of assertive and not arrogant. And this is something that you will need if you're applying for a master's. You'll need to write your SOP. If you're applying for an internship, you want to write your statement of interest or your cover letter, or for jobs, etc. You write your cover letter. You write that cold email where you talk about yourself. So I think this whole idea of how to talk about yourself meaningfully and not sound underconfident or boastful, or anything that you don't want to sound. I think the earlier you learn it, it stays with you and you only get better at it. So I think this is the right, like any of these grades is the right time to join the course. I hope that answers the question, Sakshi.
It does. Thank you so much. Thank you. I would love to hear from the audience if there are any questions. Divya, Sia, Dr. Zahid, anything that you would like to, or anyone else for that matter, if you have any questions for the panelists in general about their respective courses, or if you have any question for us for Horizons, or if you have any questions related to UG, would love to hear from you.
Hi, very good afternoon. So,
Hello.
right now, I don't have a very good afternoon to you, three of you, in fact.
Thank you, Divya. Thank you.
So, right now, I don't have questions, but I would like to say, for Sir, it was such a pleasure listening to you, sir. Your immense knowledge was reflecting in your talks. I mean, whatever you expressed was like food for my soul. I didn't want you to stop speaking. As a parent, I got so many valid answers to my questions already. talking about the early start, and you talked about a prototype that is trying and testing and finding a midpoint between what you like or what you're good at. That was just amazing. I
Thank
really like listening to you. In fact, moving to Nancy, ma'am, you also did a great job. Whatever you said gave a lot of clarity about the most significant things, required to learn before going to the college. So I am a parent of a eighth grade child, and I hope you understand a lot of palpitations and confusions we are going through, looking at the uncertain future. So
Sure,
there is a lot to learn before deciding anything. So, Nancy, ma'am, you touched a very important topic, in fact, that, writing is important. Though AI is there, but then finding your unique thing, right? After learning only, after getting skilled only, we can do that. So both after listening to you both, in fact, I was feeling like I wish I could have got such opportunities during my childhood. So Horizon program, I mean, Ashoka is doing a great job.
I agree,
Thank you,
Ashoka.
Divya.
Yeah.
Thank you, Divya.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so much.
Divya. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
thank
very
you.
kind.
yeah.
Anyone
Thanks a
else?
lot.
Any questions? Any thoughts? Dr. Zahid, Harshvir, Sia. We really would love to hear from you. So anything.
Sakshi, it would be great if you could bring out some general questions as you did, है ना? So उससे हमें और ज़्यादा help मिलेगी,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So if I think great. Professor Nancy, I was really curious, okay, and this is something new, everyone, that we have done this year, that we have built on capstone projects, which are a integral part of the Horizons courses this year. So whoever is joining Crafting Your Success Story, what's the tangible thing, what's the capstone project that they will be working on during the course? If you can just let us know a
Sure.
little bit more about it, please.
Sure, sure. Sakshi, so everyone who's a part of the course, they, by the, final week of the course, they would have written two drafts of their college application essay. Okay, and we do a longer draft. Of course, most applications are like 500 words. The US essays can actually sometimes be even 200 words, 250 words. But we are writing somewhere between 700 to 1,000 words, which is, in a way reflects on this document reflects on the most important events of the student's life. Of course, I mean academically, professionally, that contributes to their application, and in a way it becomes like some kind of a master document that students can refer to multiple times for, various documents, including scholarship documents, diversity statements, statement of research, statement of interest, etc., that they have to write. And I mean two drafts because they write one draft and then they get feedback on it, and then they edit it and they write the second draft. So that is one tangible output that they produce during the course. But this time, they also, the top 1 or 2% will also have a very unique opportunity to get published uh, from um from Bookosmia, who they you can all Google them also. They are India's leading publishers who publish children's literature, and they publish a lot of works written by children themselves. And they have been working with me for a bit now, in terms of, like, I even do some workshops for their children authors, etc. So some kids will have that opportunity to publish, a book with them on a topic that interests them. So they will be mentored by the Bookosmia team. We will help them select a topic that they want to write about. Someone I knew wrote a history of Indian railways. And the railway minister actually, came and inaugurated and was a part of the book launch. So they are doing some really interesting work. Yeah, so that is a really unique and rare opportunity, I think, that the students of the course will have this time.
That sounds so exciting. As Divya said, I want to do the courses myself now. I think there was some glitch in the like during the webinar, and a lot of the people were on mute for some reason from our end. So if we have missed to hear you and you were not able to speak, this is the golden opportunity. Please, anyone else, they have any question for our panelists? We would love to take it.
Actually, I have a question for the courses. Can we do two courses at the same time?
Sia, there is no cap, but we recommend that you do one. Simply because sometimes the time might clash, and you would not be able to do full justice to them. So we recommend you do one. Yeah,
Oh, okay, all right.
yeah. Anyone else? Harshvi?
Sakshi, just one addition to Sia's question.
Yeah,
So, Sia, we offer, I mean, Ashoka offers Horizons courses multiple times a year,
yeah,
and some courses are also repeated. Like, I'm teaching this course for the third time now. So, you can, check out, keep checking our catalog, and you can do like two courses at different points of time also. So, that's possible for sure.
yeah. Thank you, Professor Nancy. But yes, yeah, the idea is that we will keep running the courses throughout the year. So even if there is something that really interests you, please feel free to write to us. We will bring it again, so that you don't miss the opportunity to do it. Anyone else?
So yeah, I have a question for both of them.
Go ahead.
So I would like to know in the period of these 2 years, how can I recognize what's the best for her? I understand for 11th and 12th, I think college essay thing is going to be really important for her, to build this skill. But for now, looking at her skills or sorry, looking at her interests or maybe, what she's good at or what she's not good at, or like my daughter is not good at maths, okay? And we don't have any plans to go for PCM or PCB. As she's studying in CBSE, so we have three streams. So we don't have any plans to go for this, so how can I decide ki which course she should opt for? Although she's interested in English language, psychology की उसको knowledge नहीं है, but for sure, I really want, because mental health is again is something which is coming in future. It's really required. So yeah, definitely she can experience that also, or maybe finance. But then I am not able to take the decision for now. I mean, for breaking the ice, I know you will be running the programs for the whole year, and we'll keep enrolling. Once our, we have a good experience, we'll keep on enrolling. But I really want to know, sir, Nancy ma'am, from both of you, because you both are experienced, where to start.
Which grade or class is she in?
So presently she is in grade 8.
8.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, okay, Nancy, you wanna, or should I just? I'll just give you my view. You know, Divya, it's really tough to say.
Mm.
Where I wouldn't overthink it. However, what I would do is let her choose. Ask
Oh,
her what prima facie is attracting her. It works so much better that way. So walk through the courses with her, see which one she might want to pursue, and let them keep experimenting, and build a sense of agency. That means build a sense of responsibility, decision making, and starting to take a greater and greater interest and ownership of their decisions. That itself is a very important thing. So my answer would be to just try stuff. Let her try stuff, and let her to a large extent determine. Let them make mistakes as well. Don't go in for a course that is terribly difficult to do at this age, because then for future they'll say, oh no, I don't want to do an Ashoka Horizons program, it's too tough, or I didn't enjoy it. So but on the sidelines you can moderate that a bit. I come from a philosophy where I really would urge you to, you know, walk them through everything and let them choose. And if it's really not appropriate, jump in. Otherwise, just nudge them along.
Amazingly answered.
Yeah, I think I agree with Navyog. But also there were just one more thing. I mean, it is, I understand that you may feel a little confused with respect to what disciplines, you want to expose your child to at this point. But when it comes to skills, and if you look at the course offerings that, Horizons has, so there's of course writing, there's design thinking, there's critical thinking, and there's personal finance, financial literacy, and I may be missing a couple. Um, so I think that, any of these is a good starting point, honestly. She's in grade 8. I think these are all 21st century skills that will really define uh, the success of an individual in the years to come. If they can make a niche in one of these, that also will really, elevate um, their careers and their professional lives. So disciplines you can explore maybe, when she's in grade 10th. But for now, with skills, you can just start anywhere, um, with literally any course.
Your answer made a lot of sense to me, Nancy. Thank you so much. In fact, um, Professor, I would like to know about your course also. Could you please brief about what exactly your course is all about?
This is to whom? To Nancy?
This is for you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So very quickly, this course is called Designing Your Future. And what it does is it teaches the students creative problem solving, um, gives them creative confidence, uses design thinking as an underlying tool in philosophy, so that they can start to um, visualize and envision through a series of tools, reflections, exercises, three future adventures. So they leave with, on a literally having drawn and sketched, at the end, they leave with three what we call Odysseys in this course that comes from Stanford. And the three Odysseys are, one is an academic Odyssey. What might my next 5 years look like? What are the goals? What kind of discipline? Based on the exploration and self awareness that one has done with them. The second vision board on what they leave with is, what social impact project lights me up, and they envision doing a kind of a social impact project. And I think that's also great for character building and great for application. So they start to think about social impact projects, and have a vision board and an Odyssey plan for that. And the third thing they leave with is Odyssey plan or a vision board for a passion or a hobby that's also interesting them, because it's not just academic. So the course is, in summary, teaching and doing a set of, giving them tools and doing reflections for them to get to know themselves, their values, their passions, their what they're good at, blah blah blah, culminating in these three visions or adventures of the future for the next 5 years. And so they go back with three very concrete vision boards about these three aspects of their life. And then we encourage them, given these vision boards and given this plan going forward, they should take a small step and experiment it outside. So if the social impact project is, okay, I really want to go and work with, let's say, provide games and joys and toys to slum children. And so they've ideated and used creativity and created a whole project on paper. And then we encourage them to go and actually spend one Sunday trying to do that and see how it felt. and similarly for the other projects. So that's really what it is. It's helping them to really pause and reflect about what they want from life, from academics, and from their own passions, and how to take it forward.
Seems so fascinating. Thank you so much for answering it. I'm going to read about it in detail. I just really
Yeah,
liked it. I feel every student must do this thing.
yeah. I think so. I think so. Before we know how to get somewhere in life, we need to know why we are getting there.
True.
And so a lot of the education is around the hows and the whats. What designing your life says is, why is that the right destination for me? Because what's the point of being smart and getting to the wrong place? So there has to be the right place for yourself, and that's important. And so many of us, including me, and I'll give you my personal example. I could, and my parents said, and I was at IIT, but I don't think I was an engineer at heart. I mean, I was there, but I wish if I could rewind back, I would have been in some other discipline. So we focus too much on the hows and building all this and cracking the exams and cracking the code. But we don't want children to be unhappy later on because they got there, but now 5 years, 3 years, 10 years down the road, they're not so happy there. So designing your life starts to put those thinking and seeds early on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I really appreciate the way you gave your example honestly. I mean, it helped me a lot.
Thank you.
Okay. Also, Divya, to just let you know, because you mentioned psychology, right? We are also having a career spotlight on psychology tomorrow. So if you are interested,
Wonderful. I would
please,
love to join.
yeah, so please register yourself. The links will be available on our social media. I think Isha will also share it in the chat box for
Yeah.
everybody. So anyone else, because we are drawing to the last 2 to 5 minutes. But thank you so much, Professor Nabil. Thank you so much, Professor Nancy. I think you both were fantastic, as Divya mentioned. It's so good to hear from you. Thank you so much for spending your 60 minutes with us. We really appreciate it. And I can't wait to have the courses started and interact with you more. I'm so excited. But thank you. Any last questions, everyone? Very happy to take anything, even about undergraduate programs. Everyone, Brenda is still here. Uh,
Sakshi, I
oh,
really want you to share with me on my mail. I mean, whatever webinars in future are planned. Like for
okay,
finance, also I would like to uh, go for, and then it will help me to enroll her, and then take the
sure.
best decision. You know.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. So we'll do that. We have your email address now. We will add it to our mailing list. And please feel free
Right.
to share it with everyone in your network as well. We would
Absolutely, I
love
am
to
doing.
have as many people experience it as possible. As
Absolutely,
you,
I'm going to do that for
yeah,
sure. In fact, one review I would like to give you. So,
yeah,
YSP and this Horizon, these
yes.
seminars are happening at the same time. And although I have chosen Horizon for sure, I'm going to attend it. So
Yeah,
I registered for both, although I could got confused initially, but then I registered for both, and then I'm
yeah.
attending this one only. So my thing is key. I mean, they should be at different timings. I
It
believe
is,
that's what.
I think there was some error, ma'am, but going onwards, don't worry about it. We plan to
Uh,
make sure that you don't miss on anything. Any communication from
yes.
the Office of High Schools, you will not have to pick and choose. So we'll make sure of that. But thank you so much for your time. I think I'm going to wrap up now. We are already on time. I love being on time. But thank you so much, everyone. So, so grateful for you to be here, to spend this time, to share your thoughts. Really, really grateful. Thank you, professors. Nancy, Professor Navyuk. Thank you so much. And any questions anyone has, we have mentioned all the email addresses in our chat box. Please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Thank
thanks,
Thank you.
you.
Bye,
Sakshi.
everyone. Bye
Bye,
bye.
bye.
Bye.